Hello, welcome back to my shop. Haven't been here for a while, I have to apologize for that, but I've had a lot going on. Plus I've been trying to clean off my bench and rearrange it, and we'll go over that. And first of all, I have to own up to two stupid things I've done. Jackson Bell radio. I thought I had the proper schematic for it before I pulled it apart. And unfortunately it was the wrong one. I cannot find the right one. Now the thing's in pieces and I have to find a schematic somewhere. So that's going to be on hold for a little while. The second thing is on the Blancpain radio. While I was cleaning my garage, I accidentally knocked it on the floor, busted up the cabinet, but the cabinet could have been replaced or repaired, but it broke the glass, and that glass is impossible to find. So I told my neighbor what happened. He wasn't overly concerned about it, but I was. So I told him he could go down and pick out any one of the radios that I have from my hoard, which is probably about 100 of them. So he can pick out what he wants, and then we'll see about redoing that. You're probably wondering what you're seeing here on the bench, and these are two General Electric radios from the late 50s, early 60s. And the reason I have them is because I had one when I was a kid. You always, tend to go back to the stuff you had when you were a kid. So actually, I have 4 of them, exactly the same. The reason I have 4 is because it took me that many to find one that the person packed it properly and it didn't break the cabinet. So 3 of them have broken cabinets. So I'm hoping to do a video on repairing these plastic cabinets, and that's what these are. They're not Bakelite, they're plastic, sort of styrene. And the other one I'm going to do just restoring the insides and the cabinet as it is. And I may, if I'm real lucky, I may get 3 working radios out of the deal, but I kind of doubt it. I know I'll get 2. I'm also going to go over some of the projects that I got coming up. I'm going to handhold this for a little bit, so excuse the shakiness, and we'll go over a few things. Okay, you'll notice on this one there's a badge right there in the left hand, well actually it's the right hand side as you're looking at it, left hand side of the radio. And there isn't any on this one. Actually, I think this is the only good badge I have. So what I'm going to do is try to reproduce that during the restoration process. We'll see how that goes. Now I take a look at these knobs, and you take a look at these knobs. Now these are not the original knobs. Somebody put those on. These, although they are original knobs, they're not the knobs that I had on my radio. And my radio was a little bit different. I don't know if it was an earlier or later model. But on the left hand on-off switch, on mine you used to pull it out to turn it on, and then turn it to the right for volume. This one you have to turn it to the right, it clicks on, and you adjust the volume. But I think one of my radios has that switch in it. The nice thing about this is you'll notice the dial pointer, and they call this a dial beam radio. And the reason is because behind that red plastic dial is a light bulb, and it's directly behind the dial pointer. And as you turn the tuning, the light actually turns with the dial indicator, kind of like a spotlight effect. So that's pretty cool. So we'll be seeing what happens with these. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Now, if you remember my shop videos from the other, from the first video that I put out, you'll notice that these cabinets weren't up here. These cabinets are only half filled, and I'm going to redo the labels on them, and then I have to put more stuff in them. We're going to finally make this Variac happen. I have all the parts for it. I just need to put them together, and we're going to make a whole new face for it. And you'll see this is our DC power supply that I'll be putting together. I think I have all the parts for this too. So it's going to be a little bit different than what's shown here. That was just a mock-up, but I found some other things that I'm going to incorporate into it. Now you'll see that my bench, you probably noticed it a little bit. This is the other half of my bench. All those boxes were up above the test instruments right there where the red cabinets are. And then I had plastic shoe boxes on a shelf above there. But these cabinets are more important to me than the shoe boxes and that were. So I put the shoe boxes down there and rearrange some of this other stuff. That's my tube carrier and some files that I'm going to get out of there. So I still have a bit to go. And I don't know if you noticed over here, I have this pegboard leaning up against here. I decided that I needed more place to hang my stuff. So I'm going to put this pegboard on this side over here. And we're going to be making some different solutions. I got a few tips on that. While we're at it, let me put you back on the tripod. Okay, there we go. Now, while I'm on the subject of tips, well, let me start from the beginning. I've been going over some of my first videos and I didn't like them. If I was you, I wouldn't watch them, to tell you the truth. They're a little bit overdone and hokey, so I'm going to change the format of the way I do videos a little bit. And it'll be an ongoing process, so don't expect to see the same thing twice for a little while. Okay, with that being said, I decided to start another little series, and I'm calling it On the QT. QT standing for Quick Tips. I've got a boatload full of tips that I want to share with you guys, and gals if there's any watching, that I think you'll find useful. And I'm going to be having one up in a day or two, and you'll be able to see that. And then I got, I've got quite a few more lined up. We'll see how we can get those going and that. I do have a couple more radios that I'm scheduled to be working on, and I can't bring it to the bench now, but when I dig it out, I'll bring it to the bench and I'll show it to you. And I've got another radio to work on for one of my buddies. That's not a restoration. We're just repairing that one, getting it working. So that's it for now. I'll keep you posted. I just wanted to get a video out there to apologize for not being more diligent in putting up videos. You've probably assumed, or you know for a fact, that I my shop is in my garage. And this early springtime has been so bad, the weather's been so lousy, and my garage has needed to be cleaned so badly. That's why you're not seeing any more of it right at the moment, because I can't hardly move in it. So we're going to be working on that over the course of time, and hopefully we'll be able to show you some of my woodworking stuff and that sort of thing. I do one of the projects I've got planned is a 1930, I think it's a 33 or 34 Philco Cathedral Radio Model 60B. And this was given to me over 60 years ago, actually. In 1963, I was 13 years old, and a friend of my dad's knew I liked to mess around with electronics like my dad did. So he gave me this Cathedral radio, which at the time didn't work. Over the years, I've tried different things to it, and being a greenhorn like I was, I messed up more than I fixed. The main thing is I tried to refinish the cabinet, and I sanded too vigorously and started sanding some of the veneer on the front away. So, well, you know what? I'm going to wait until we get that on the table and show it to you, and then we can move from there. So, I'd like to thank you for sticking around. Oh, I would really like to thank all the new subscribers and the subscribers that have been with me for a while, that have stuck with me, and you know, hoped that I'd have something important to put up on YouTube. But the new subscribers, I appreciate them all. So hopefully you'll like what you see, and you'll click the thumbs up button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, and share if you can. So with that, we're going to say goodbye to you for now. Hopefully I'll have a quick tips video up in a week, well, not even a week, in a couple of days, and then another video starting. I think these General Electric radios are going to be the first ones I'm going to do. I need to get a project completed under my belt, because so far I'm not feeling confident lately. So I think we're going to start on these, and we'll work at it from there. So thanks for watching. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing and sticking with me, and we'll see you on the next one.